here.
Mhm.
All righty. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to wait just a little bit. It's 4:30. I'll give like 2 minutes and then we'll get started. I like your backdrop, Kelly and Tiffany.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
I do. It looks very festive. I wish mine was a little more beautiful here. There. Awesome. Oh, there's Kirby. Hi, Kirby. Hi. Let's see.
What's a stitch? She's a preschooler.
I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. So excited. Kirby, was Miss Ferrari good today?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Tomorrow, will you tell her I said hi?
Yeah.
Do you know that she's my best friend?
No.
Yes, she is. She's my best friend. All right. I just have to make sound for me when participants come in, and then I will continue to let people in. All right, are we ready, Miss Geller and Miss Elias?
Ready.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, welcome incoming kindergarten families. My name is Robin Saray, and I am the executive director for Kaleidoscope School. Somewhere on the screen, you're going to see Miss Elias. Wave, Miss Elias. There she is. And you'll see Miss Geller. Miss Elias and Miss Geller are two of our 4 kindergarten teachers this year. And so instead of having to hear me ramble on, we'll actually let you listen to the teachers that are actually presenting or are teaching the kindergartners this year and talk to you. So I will do this one because this is kind of a boring one for Miss Elias and Miss Geller. They want to talk about the fun kindergarten stuff. So our mission at Kaleidoscope is to provide academic rigor balanced with innovative hands-on instruction for every child. We cultivate strong relationships with students, families, and communities while facilitating our children's limitless potential. I will just tell you, cultivating relationships with students, families, and communities this year with COVID has been a challenge to say the least, but I feel like we've tried our hardest. And our goal is next year is that our families and communities are on this campus as much as possible. We have 5 core values that we kind of live by. It's unique learning environments where we put 2 teachers in the classroom, which they'll talk about, and 30 kids. Character development, where once a month we use a core virtue and we talk about it and role play and read books about it. Inclusive learning environments. Meaningful family and community involvement, which, like I said, was very challenging this year, and our academic excellence. And so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that because I'm going to give away some slides. So, all right, so without further ado, Miss Elias and Miss Geller is going to talk to you about their schedule. So go ahead.
Okay.
All right, you want me to start with that?
Yes.
Okay, so our daily schedule is broken up into different academic sections. So for example, we start our day with social emotional. There is sometimes a little video we watch and a story that goes along with the actual social emotional content lesson. And then that lasts for about 30 minutes. Then we move into our reading and writing and grammar and comprehension. And then I think there'll be slides specifically for Spalding and the content area. So we'll talk more specifically about those. We have an hour for math. The kids are outside playing at recess in the morning and at lunch, and then sometimes in the afternoon. So they have a lot of time to move around and be active outside. Our specialist classes include art, music, PE, computers, and Spanish, and the kids are in there for just a little under an hour, and they're with that teacher, and they have their content and their lessons that they do with them. Then we have our core knowledge, which is our social studies and science, which also includes poems and sayings and stories. And we do that every afternoon. And then we have an exploratorium, which is wonderful because if there's something we didn't finish during the day, or if we need to work one-on-one with a child, we have that time in the afternoon. It's also a time for children to, make some choices, go back and revisit something they've done earlier in the day.
And just to add, with the art, music, PE, computers, and Spanish, what we really try to do is tie into the learning that is happening in either language arts, math, social studies, and science. And so if we're learning about what's a historical event that happens in kindergarten that you learn about?
Well, for example, we might do the Statue of Liberty, and that definitely can be tied in with art class on line, design, and color.
Yep. And so we try to, and then we will, with the Statue of Liberty, we might be listening to some French music. And so we try to definitely do a lot of integration. Drop off and pick up.
Okay, so we are open from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. We have morning care starts at 7 a.m. and then aftercare goes until 6. They have to be picked up by 6. On half days, we have aftercare until 4. Drop off starts at 7:45 in the morning until 8. Then that's when school starts. You can either drive through. We have a great drive-through system where you can drive right up. Someone will come and open the door and let your kid out. Or you can park in the parking lot and walk your child to the front doors. I don't know what next year is going to look like. Robin, are parents going to be able to come in or walk? Yes, and walk them to the classrooms. Okay.
Yes, next year the goal is to have parents walk the kids up to the classroom. And we know, incoming kindergartners, I had 2 kindergartner children of my own at one point, and walking them up is so important. And so we just had to make sure with COVID this year that, we didn't, but that is not our policy. We love to have the parents on campus.
And we ask, please use the crosswalk if you're going to park and walk them in. And please, if Mr. Audrain is out there or somebody else, please be nice to them. They are trying to follow the rules and keep everybody safe. We've had a few instances. And then our pickup school's over at 3. And there again, you have 2 options. You can get in line and go through the drive-through, and we will walk your child to your car, open the door and let them in. Or you can park and walk up to the school and pick them up. Again, Mrs. Saray, is it going to be they can come into the school, actually to the classroom and get them? Do you think?
So they'll be able to go to the hallways next year and go to.
Okay.
So when the door opens, that everyone should be able to get their kid right there instead of having everyone congregating outside like it's happening this year. Next year they should be able to go into the hallways, and so we are going to be COVID free next year.
Perfect. Yes. If you come through the drive-through, you'll be issued a number, and that number is sent to the teachers through our Driveline program that we use. And then the children are called and they come right out to you. So it's an awesome program that we've used this year, Driveline.
Yeah, it's been a godsend.
Yes, it is. It's awesome.
And then it's our curriculum. So we're starting off with Stanford Harmony, which is our social emotional. During the year, we have different topics that we focus on, like how to communicate with each other, how to solve problems, how to overcome strong feelings. There's different topics. And within those different topics, there will be 4 lessons. Each week, we'll start with a story from a little character named Z. He's a little character that comes from outer space, and he's learning how to acclimate and integrate himself into the Earth world. So he guides our stories and our lessons. And then the kids get to do interactive games and problem solving opportunities with those social emotional lessons.
And then our Singapore math carries on throughout the whole school. Kindergarten is where it starts. Our building blocks. It, like it says, generally focuses on a fewer topics, but in greater depth. So we could try to dive a little deeper into each subject. The students don't just learn how the answer to an equation, they actually learn how the equation works and how they're going to solve it. In kindergarten, a lot of it is learning, getting some of the vocabulary down. That will prepare them for the coming years as they get up there. By 2nd or 3rd grade, moms and dads may want to take the parent class for Singapore math. Just a word of advice. Having had a child go through Singapore math, I didn't get it later. By the time they were in 3rd grade, it was pretty tough. So a lot of hands-on. that we do with Singapore math, a lot of manipulatives. Right now we're doing money, and we have, the fake money. I've brought in real money. We're looking at them, learning who's on the coins, what the symbols are on the back of the coins, how much they're worth, and then they're counting by ones, fives, tens, and 25s. How much they need to make $1. And we've even had a few little shops set up in the classrooms where they can go and buy little items too. So we do a lot of hands-on. Our workbook that we have, we do use, but I kind of do it as my wrap up at the end of my lesson, so the students can show me that they actually can apply it, and show me what they've learned in the lesson.
Spelling is our integrated language arts program, which means it's incorporating spelling, phonics, phonemic awareness, reading, comprehension, literacy study, writing. So composition, and the children are learning how to write sentences. So in the beginning of the year, the children are starting to hear sounds and words, work with rhyme, break up words, identify definitely the 26 letters, and then additional about 72 phonograms. And they work on mastery of those, and incorporated with that is handwriting. And then that builds into the reading. So there's stories that we'll focus on each week, and comprehension strategies that are tie-in with the reading component. And then with the writing, it brings it all together, comprehension, the phonics, and they're able to apply and build sentences and stories by the end of the year. So right now, the kids have mastered all their sounds and letters. They're building words, building sentences, and now we're working on writing a story with a beginning, middle, and end. They come quite a long way from the beginning of the school year. Just being able to sit down and focus and be able to hold a pencil correctly, to writing stories and understanding what they write and being able to share and speak to what they write. And also to be able to pick up different books and read leveled readers, and to apply all those phonics and phonemic skills. Anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's fun to see the little lights come on when they can actually put a sentence together. When we start with that, and they sit back and look at it and realize that they did it on their own. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, kindergarten is such an amazing year. They just grow so much, so fast. And you see so much growth this year. It's very exciting. Every little thing, it's just such a big celebration. They get over these hurdles, and for them, it's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily frustrating or challenging. It's so exciting because everything's clicking for them, and they're so ready for it. And when they have that good foundation, especially with phonemic awareness, it really lays the foundation for later reading fluency in the early grades too. So that's so critical.
And then our core knowledge, we use for our social studies and science. This is the fun part of our day, I think. The core knowledge approach puts knowledge at the heart of the schooling through specific and sequenced excellence and equity and starting early. Core knowledge for our social studies and science, we go through and do several different units through that, and this is a lot of hands-on for us. This is where a lot of our hands-on comes in. This week we've been talking about transportation, air, land, and water, and the kids can come up with what those basically are, but we have them then show us and build something. So they have been building, yesterday we did boats, and we used juice boxes. Some of us, my kids love to create. And so I just put materials out there, and I was amazed at what they came up with. So then I filled the sink in my classroom with water so that they could test it out. And they were so excited to see them floating in the sink. But then there were some that were discouraged when theirs fell over. So then we problem solved, well, why did it fall over? Usually the sails were, 2 feet tall or something. So we learned to cut them down and balance the weight out. But they had a ball with that. In fact, I really had to stop them and have them clean up, because they could have done it, could have kept going for an hour. And we do the same thing with the science. we do light, we do, there's so many things. The plants, a lot of the plants and the animals, different animals in different habitats and around the world. So our core knowledge is a lot of the hands-on that we do in the afternoon. The continent, I'm trying to go through the continents, the whole world.
We have some stuff on the next slide. You'll see.
Okay, good. My brain's fried right now. And then along with the core knowledge comes our core virtues and sayings that we use every month. Each month, teachers highlight a key intellectual, moral, or civic virtue of respect, responsibility, diligence, honesty, generosity, or perseverance. And then we read different literature at a morning gathering, part of our morning time, meeting time. And we talk about different inspirational quotes and how we can apply them to our everyday life. Practice makes perfect is a good one. If there's a will, there's a way. We try to reiterate those over the year several times.
Awesome. Let's get to the fun stuff.
Here's our hands-on activities. Here we go.
So let's start in the top
No.
left-hand corner and talk about what's happening there. Oh, get
That was, that was way back in the church. I have to remember what we were doing. We had Play-Doh, and I think we were doing shapes. Community helpers. Oh, they're the chefs, the chef hats. That's right. So they were making things with the Play-Doh. That's right.
Awesome.
And then we've got Native American.
And then over in this corner, in the other top right-hand corner now, instead of left. Looks like they are doing something with magnets. Did you do a magnet unit?
Yep.
Yes, we did.
Magnets.
Push and pulls.
Push
and
pull.
magnets.
And then down in the bottom right-hand corner, I think you were doing something with ecosystems, if I remember correctly. And so that class was developing their own ecosystems. And then Ms. Geller, this is your class with when you were building things.
So that's when we were working on maps and the children were taking different materials from around the classroom to create their own 3D town. And then from there, they were illustrating what they created and they were working in a team. So you can see that there's a long piece of paper and they were working cooperatively together.
And then I think this is yours, Miss Elias. This is your kiddos this year.
Yes. So we were talking about different animals. We were talking about characteristics of and traits of birds, and one of them were the nests. So they had to build a nest, and then in their nest they got an egg and a feather, and I think we put a gummy worm. Different characteristics. We cut out a little beak. The birds all have a beak. Different characteristics from a bird, and we put it all in the nest. They loved that one. That was fun, and that was right before Easter, so it was perfect timing.
And then the one bottom left here is our Native American unit. You can see that
Yeah.
they were doing Native Americans. What do you have specific Native Americans that you learn about in kindergarten?
Yes, there's different regions throughout the United States. So we do the Kwakiutl tribe up in the Pacific Northwest.
She remembers.
We have East Coast Wampanoag tribe, and we did the South American Hopi Indian. So each region is represented when we are working with Native Americans. And then it moves into how our country began, and then it moves into the celebration of our country. So it goes in a sequential order.
Fantastic. Love and logic.
Is that you for you, Robin? That
Yeah, I'm sorry. So can you see the love and logic?
Yes, okay. So this is our classroom management and discipline policy that we use, the love and logic. It's a philosophy of raising and teaching children, which allows adults to be, I can't read half of it, part of it, happier, empowered, and more skilled in their interactions with their children. So it's more on a positive note, trying to get the children to, my big thing is getting them to communicate with each other when there's a problem or an issue, I want them to see the feelings from the other children. They learn best lessons when they're given a task and they're allowed to make their own choices and to fail when the cost of failure is still small. Children's failures must be coupled with love and empathy from the adults. Classrooms are places where teachers develop healthy, respectful relationships with the kids, and the kids are excited about learning. This year in my classroom, I've learned if I give respect, they give it back. And that's like everybody wants to be treated.
And the great thing about Love and Logic is Love and Logic is done in the classroom, and then we also offer Love and Logic parenting classes. So if you're interested in using the same terminology that we use at school, it's offered for free this year at Zoom. Next year, we're hoping we're in person.
And then the plan is to have field trips and guest speakers. This year, we have not been able to do field trips outside of school or have guest speakers in. We just do them virtually as much as we can. And we want to be able to incorporate those field trips into what we're learning. So when we go on a field trip, it really just emphasizes the learning and celebrates the learning, as well as with guest speakers.
You want to give a couple of the examples? Actually, Ms. Elias, since you came from a school that we are modeling, can you talk about some of the field trips that you have done with kindergartners in regards to this curriculum?
Yes, here we've had the farmers. We've gone out to different farms throughout the valley. We just did a big unit on reduce, reuse, and recycle. And I had a child one year that was so intrigued with trash trucks and just, he was obsessed with it. So we planned a field trip and went out to the dump and went out to the recycling center. And it was probably one of the best field trips I've been on, actually. It was very interesting. The kids loved it. It's something they could relate to. They loved it. When we do a dinosaur unit, we've gone out to the Natural History Museum in Mesa, another favorite. And then the one big one in the spring out to the Wildlife World Zoo. It really brings a lot of our units together with habitats and the animals themselves, their characteristics, where they're from, the different countries they're from.
And in the past, I've taken students to the Herpetological Society, which is a small type of environment for reptiles, where they get to be up close with some alligators and snakes.
And so you can also see that, you know, like we would love to have family members come in and to present about their heritage. We'll have doctors come in. Every grade has specific human body that they learn about. And so we bring doctors in to reinforce what we have taught. And then I think weather's a big thing in kindergarten. And so meteorologists, bringing in a meteorologist. And so just reinforcing the curriculum. You want me to take this one?
Sure.
So we are a standards-based grading. And so typically what you would see in a kindergarten classroom, you could either see an A, B, C, D, F grading system, or you would see an OSN, O as an outstanding, S as in satisfactory, and N as needs improvement. We have decided not to do either of those. And so we are a standards-based grading. And so when you get a report card at Kaleidoscope, what you're going to get is you're going to get a very large report card. And instead of saying your math grade is an A+, what you're going to see is you're going to see the standards that were taught during that quarter. And so it could be counting to within 100. It could be some other standards. And so what it's going to do, it's going to give them a number. It's going to give them a number between 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 meaning highly efficient. 1 meaning that no, we're not quite there yet. So we always are looking for students to be at a 3 and 4. Now, knowing that at the beginning of the year, you're probably going to be getting 1s, possibly 2s, and a few 3s. And so it's a way to view student progress based on proficiency levels for identified standards rather than relying on a holistic representation as the sole measure of achievement. And so our whole thought process is that, you know, you got to see, but, you know, you're really, really good in like 3 of the 4 subjects that were taught during that quarter. But then you can actually see exactly where your child is having struggles and where your child is being very successful. And so it's it definitely, you'll be surprised by when you see it at first, but we feel that it's more inclusive. Oh, here's a fun one. You guys can take this one.
That's a fun one. We have a lot of school pride here. A lot of times we come up with things on the whim to do. If it's not with the staff, it's with the whole school and the kids. So we have our school pride. We always wear kaleidoscope shirts and to show our spirit. We have different fun days throughout the year, once a month, isn't it?
Yes.
We have Backwards Day, the Color Day, Sports Day, Superhero Day, Crazy Hair Day, Rockstar Day, and Animal Day. And they're each fun. It's fun to see what the kids come dressed in, what their ideas are. The Animal Day, it was fun to see what they came up with, from, you know, cat ear headbands to full-on animal print everywhere. So it was pretty fun. And then on Fridays, we always have School Spirit Day, where we like the kids to wear their kaleidoscope shirts. And the teachers do as well.
I'm going to keep moving because
Yep.
we're getting close.
And
then,
yep, go ahead.
each month we have a specific charity or organization that we donate to. So we encourage the families to help donate items depending on what that charity is. For example, in January, it's the Humane Society donating pet supplies, and we take a big box of all the things that have been donated and take it to those organizations.
Awesome. Oh, you fun parts, more.
Parties. It'll be so fun to have parties this year. I learned this year I am not a good classroom party thrower. The parents had
We
it
need
down
parents.
because they you know, when you're so used to having parents coming in and each parent taking a center, it was great. We only accept the store-bought treats for allergy purposes, of course. If your child at any time throughout the year, if they have allergies at all, always send in things that they can have. We do a fall party, Halloween time, winter party for the holidays, a Valentine's party, and then we have a big end of the year party. Generally, and I could be wrong, Mr. Ray, are they, in the past, I've had my parents plan my parties.
Yep, parents are back next year.
Okay, we give them the guidelines and what we would like to see in our classrooms, and the parents can plan it and sign up to run the centers and bring in the snacks and fun things. So
Yeah, and we'll be having that next year. Parties are kind of important.
Yeah, and it's a great way to volunteer if you're not able to come in on a weekly basis to
Mhm.
volunteer, to be able to come in for a party or two throughout the year, or to donate supplies, or to even help at home, help plan and prep materials at home. So there's lots of different ways
Yeah,
to volunteer
for that,
in
yep.
the school.
So that's, I think that's the last one, the last screen.
Okay.
And so you can see, I'm going to stop sharing. That's the school or the basics of Kaleidoscope and the curriculum and the teachers you've got to meet. And we would love to have it in person. We are so excited to have everybody here next year. So we just wanted to take this opportunity. So real quick with kindergarten, and then I have to move on. With kindergarten, there is going to be a kinder prep ready camp happening about 2 weeks before school starts. It is optional if you want to attend. You do not have to attend. We're also going to have a meet the teacher right before school starts. We start on a Wednesday, August 12th, and we're looking at probably that Monday. We'll set up times. You'll come into the classroom, meet all your teachers. And we will not be deciding who gets what teachers quite yet, you know. And so, but we are just very, very excited for the upcoming year. Please continue to look for more communication. And we hope you have a good night. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, everybody.